Did you know him beforehand? Because it seems to be a match made in heaven, you two together.
Yeah, it was partly luck and partly that I had met him actually at an audition for the movie Adventureland.
Right.
Like, I was already cast in this movie, and Kieran came in to audition for a character that's like a friend of mine that always like punches me in the groin.
Yeah,
and
because that's hilarious.
Yep. We were doing these auditions, and all these guys were coming in and reading and being very respectful, like, and not hitting me. And then Kieran came in, and not only did he hit me in the balls, but he also like grabbed my chest and like squeezed it. And he just. This was a movie I was already cast in, and he was coming into audition. So, like, imagine just, like, kind of my surprise when he was also brilliant in the audition. And so I just had this memory of this person coming into, like, my territory and, like, humiliating me and also being really funny. And that's what this movie is.
Virgin Radio.
Already having the most fun talking to our next guest. Knew we would. Done it before. It's always good. It's never bad. All right, Vassos, who is it?
He's the brilliant actor who's been nominated for all the awards, including 3 Golden Globes, 2 BAFTAs, and an Oscar
partridge
in a pear
pear
tree. He's now written, directed, produced, stars in, and is currently publicising a new comedy drama, A Real Pain, which hits cinemas in the new year. So please welcome the very busy, never messy Jesse Eisenberg.
All right, Jesse.
Oh, thank you so much. That was so nice. Oh, great. Now I'm great. That was nice. I'd love you to do that each morning before I get out of bed.
Got a couple of initial questions about the film. Let's dive straight in there. Sure. Brilliant film, awesome film, beautiful, heartbreaking, heartwarming, hilarious, extremely sad. It's got all the great things, all the important things, all the essential ingredients to make an amazing movie. Already scoring 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not even out yet, by the way. Watched it last night. The whole team watched it. That doesn't happen very often. They just watched it because they wanted to see you, and it's great. A couple of initial questions. Dive straight in.
Sure.
Was it always your intention, throughout this 41 years of being on planet Earth, to cast your feet in a starring role?
Oh, that's a great question. Yes, in the movie, we show my feet. I wasn't even planning on being in this movie or playing this part when I was writing the movie. So no, that was just, I was just going to cast generic feet.
Really?
Yes, really.
I see.
I don't have exceptional feet, but one time somebody did tell me, yo, you got nice feet.
No, but you have got nice feet.
They're fine. Let's be honest, they're fine. They're basic feet. But I just remember it was such a funny compliment to receive once that I just thought it would be funny to put in a movie.
Yeah, well, but when it was in the movie, I thought, because your character, Dave, he's like, have I really got feet? Nice feet? Like you said there, and a lot of it's based on you, and because you write what you know, and you know yourself sometimes. Right. And even what you don't know is worth writing about because you don't know it. And but your feet are great.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Because I tell you, I'm a quite a big foot person because I don't think I've got great feet. I'm trying to make my feet better. That's why I don't have any shoes and socks on now.
They look good from the bottom.
Very much.
What's going on top?
Toe going on. Too much running. But Vassos has your feet and his feet could have a foot off.
Really?
Oh, he's got great feet. Mega
fantastic.
feet.
Yo, congratulations.
Thank you. I also once got told, you've got great feet.
It's a funny thing to hear.
Guys, because you've both got great feet. And the reason you don't know is because you've got them.
You know what? You're right. We never had to worry about it. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, one less thing.
See, a little bit of swag. We never had to worry about it. Now you're owning the feet.
Yeah, now I understand the privilege we have.
Well, I'm glad we started off with that question because obviously it's already gifted me the fact that you didn't intend to cast yourself. So therefore, this wasn't a sort of vainglorious foot film. But the foot thing was in there for whoever it was you might have played Dave.
Yes. It would have been a weird audition process, wouldn't it?
So it's just fortuitous that you also happen to have nice feet. All right, okay. Not who was, because you don't want to call people out. Why was it not going to be you? How did it become you? Who might it have been? Tell us all about that.
Oh, yeah. So, after I wrote it, I wasn't even thinking about acting in it, but no one would produce the movie. And so I thought, if I put myself in it, at least it'll look like there's an actor involved in it, And so...
So you said you could say to people... Money people,
yeah.
I've got Jesse Eisenberg.
Yeah, it's
because I am him.
It's so weird. Everybody hates receiving a script in email. Everybody hates receiving a script. It's like a burden. But if there's an actor in there, even if they don't like the actor, it still feels like it's on the ground. It's three-dimensional.
Yeah, something's going on.
Something's going on.
There's
exactly.
movement.
Exactly.
All right.
Exactly. So I thought I was going to play the other role in the movie, which is Kieran Culkin plays in the movie, and he's brilliant in it. And I thought I would play that role because it's the more... if you see the movie, you realize why it's a great role.
Oh,
and
that's good, isn't it? This interview's writing itself, by the way. Go on.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's the fun role is what I mean. And then, our producer is actually Emma Stone, the amazing actress. And so she told me, do not play like an unhinged character while trying to direct a movie, because she has been producing her movies that she's acted in.
Because you'll end up becoming unhinged.
Yeah, it's just like hard to manage a group of people while also staying in this space as an actor of being unhinged. So anyway, I played the part that is probably more like me anyway.
Yeah, we talked to Paul Mescal about this a couple of weeks ago about Gladiator 2.
Yeah.
The fact, and people who don't get this may not care, and I don't blame you at all for not caring. In fact, the opposite. But it's a miracle, not a minor miracle. It's a miracle that any movie ever gets made at all, isn't it?
Oh my God, there's like 17,000 different things that could and should go wrong prior to getting done.
Usually do, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, we ended up filming. We filmed the whole movie in Poland in 26 days, which sounds like a lot of days if you're thinking about shooting a movie. But actually, it's like tiny for what we were trying to accomplish. And every day, I was just thinking, if it rains for 20 minutes, our movie is ruined because it will destabilize our entire schedule. Like we were on a knife's edge every day.
Yeah, I mean, I host a festival every year, charity festival, 90,000 people, and we just pray it doesn't rain a lot. Purely because of next year's festival. Because if people get rained on a lot one year at a festival, they're
not going to come back.
They won't come back. They just don't. Even if it's the greatest festival in the world, they just don't.
Has it
unless
happened?
It's Glastonbury. Yeah, no, it does happen. You get Sanskari, the same kind of thing. You get deep
of course.
Deep issues with that. So we haven't even mentioned what the film's about. A Real Pain. The film is brilliant. My wife witnesses me watching a lot of films in the afternoon while she is running our lives with our kids and doing all the heavy lifting. She also witnesses me reading books. And she said to me yesterday, I've got the laptop on, I'm going with the film. She says after about 40 minutes, and my wife is a woman of very few words, but they all mean loads, right?
Okay.
And she just said from the kitchen, she said, that sounds like a good one.
Oh.
And that's just from the dialogue.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice.
How cool is that?
That's great. Yeah.
What's it about?
That's so nice. Well, please thank her in few words from me too. The movie's about like these two cousins who I play with Kieran Culkin, and we're two cousins who've kind of grown apart, and we go back to Poland to go on like a heritage tour to see where our family is from. And it's really about our relationship as we kind of get older and move away from each other. But also it's against the backdrop of like all this crazy history that our family had been through.
Right, so the family's history being?
Family, it's Jewish family in Poland, killed by, in the Holocaust, of course, and they're going to see where their grandma is from. She survived the war, moved to New York, and had a family, and they go to see this little house that she's from, which is actually the house my family was from, too. We got to film at
the actual house?
Yeah, we got to film where my family lived, and it was
Till
crazy.
1939?
Yeah, exactly.
Till the beginning of everything that was horrible?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, our trailers were parked across the street from the cemetery where people were, like, killed and taken and killed. It was wild. And so it's a kind of, there's a lot of autobiographical stuff in the movie from me, but most of it's fictional. And it's just, it was wild to get to film there.
Yeah, it's a beautiful film. And you say it's just about two cousins because you would say that because you're a genius. But it's about these two cousins, and it's like, it's almost like a world title fight of empathy.
Yeah.
Because you think Dave, your character, doesn't have any.
Right.
And you think Kieran's character, Benji, has all of the empathy.
Yeah.
And then the old switcheroo just happens halfway through.
Yeah, wow. Thank you so much. Actually, no one ever put it that way, but that is, wow. That's not even... Yeah, wow, thank you so much. That is kind of, what it feels like. My character seems kind of emotionally closed off, and Kieran, by contrast, seems like just in touch with everybody's feelings. He meets strangers, and within 2 minutes of meeting a stranger, he breaks them down, and they love him. But over the course of the movie, you realize that he's kind of like just masking this, deep demons that he's, plagued by.
Yeah, and he cries for the world.
Yeah.
Benji, Kieran's character, cries for the world.
That's right.
And for his ascendants.
Yeah.
And you think, well, what's going on with ice cold Dave here?
Yeah.
But Dave ends up crying for Benji.
Yeah,
so he's also crying for the world, because he's crying for the world that lives within Benji, and Benji's crying for the world that lives within the rest of us. So it's the same, it's just a different way to get there.
Wow, that is probably the most astute comment I've ever heard about the movie. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. Wow. Yeah, Benji has trouble actually having sustainable relationships one-on-one with people. He can connect to them really briefly, but David, on the other hand, is just plagued by this one relationship with his cousin, who's in some ways just gone downhill for the last few months.
Well, somebody has to pilot the space shuttle and somebody has to be at mission control.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's all it is, isn't it?
Yeah, that's
and those
exactly it.
two roles can be interchangeable. Obviously not where NASA's concerned, but you know what I mean.
Yeah, exactly. And my character is like, he's put together the itinerary and is like making sure he's basically babysitting his cousin on this trip.
He's ticking box ticking.
Exactly
isn't he?
that.
He's living by numbers
Exactly.
as opposed to living by life.
Exactly. And Kieran is like just this free-spirited, charming. That's kind of what I meant when I said I wanted to play that role.
Until halfway into a sort of holiday trip, whatever you want to call it, when he's been given a long enough break away from his responsibilities back at home to be able to feel life again.
Yeah, exactly.
And that's when over the dinner table he comes.
Yeah.
It's great moment in the movie.
Thank you so much.
It's just fantastic.
So nice
It's
of you.
interesting that you said you considered playing Benji.
Yeah.
Because we were saying beforehand, weren't we, Vass? And Jane, it was Jane's thought, our producer, our wonderful producer. And she said, I wonder what the film would be like if you remade it again and you swapped parts.
I know, I would love to do that so
and
much.
I thought, how much fun would that be?
I know, I actually thought I should try to bring it up with Kieran because I thought it'd be so cool to do like a reading, like maybe for charity or something in front of an audience where we do that. I know, that would be great. But then I thought like, oh, maybe I'm like overestimating like how much people know this movie. Like, would people actually come to see something like that? I don't know.
Yeah, I think they might.
No, I thought that would be so cool. I thought it'd be so cool. But then I thought, oh, maybe it's just me trying to show off that I could like do the other part. But
So
Kieran
what?
is a genius.
You're showing off anyway. You're making films.
Yeah,
You're not
that's true.
exactly hiding in the background, are you?
Yeah, I know, but I like to be in denial of my ego.
Well,
You know.
good. It's not going very well.
I know. As I'm here on the radio, I know. As I sit in front of a mic for the last 48 hours. Yeah, I know. But yeah, and Kieran is just absolutely brilliant. I mean, I would love to see him do the other part too.
Yeah,
I'm sure he would say
so
no.
We'd all love that. So Kieran, obviously, many people know him from Succession and other things as well. But I mean, Succession is the big thing.
Yeah, he's really popular.
Did you know him before that? So I've researched a lot about you. I got into Adventureland last night for a while. That was fun.
Oh, really?
Yeah. We'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah.
But did you know him beforehand? Because it seems to be a match made in heaven, you two together.
Yeah, it was partly luck and partly that I had met him actually at an audition for the movie Adventureland.
Right.
Like I was already cast in this movie and Kieran came in to audition for a character that's like a friend of mine that always like punches me in the groin.
Yeah.
And
Because that's hilarious.
Yep. Doesn't date the movie at all. So we were doing these auditions, and all these guys were coming in and reading and being very respectful, like, and not hitting me. And then Kieran came in, and not only did he hit me in the balls, but he also like grabbed my chest and like squeezed it. And this was a movie I was already cast in, and he was coming into audition. So like, imagine just like kind of my surprise when he was also brilliant in the audition. And so I just had this memory of this person coming into like my territory and like humiliating me and also being really funny. And that's what this movie is. And so I had like, in this movie, my character plans this trip and pays for the trip. And then Kieran, this kind of like unstable guy, comes in and just like torments me. And so I had this memory of this kid auditioning with me for this movie and doing the exact same thing. And so when somebody mentioned his name, I just thought, oh my God, that's exactly it. This is that person.
So you didn't really know him other than that?
No, I hadn't watched anything he'd been in. I just met him there, and I'd met him. He used to date Emma Stone, and we were in the Zombieland movies together. And so I met him through her because they were dating when we were doing Zombieland. And so I met him, and he always was just so cool. He's just inside his skin in a way that I could never, ever conceive myself being. Yeah. He's comfortable with himself. Yeah,
gosh, now you say that, I think about other actors that I suspect are like that I don't know because I'm not you. And you think, and they are fascinating, those people, aren't they? As human beings. Yeah. You just want to watch that. I watch them in anything. I'll watch him in anything. I'll watch you in anything you do, but for entirely different reasons.
With him. It's different. He's just comfortable in his own skin.
Yeah, he's a bit like Robert Downey. I found Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, exactly.
He's just like, he's an actor, but he's so much more.
Yeah, exactly. It's like a kind of, it's a great comparison, actually. And it's just like somebody who feels like they're so in touch with their own interests and tastes, unpretentious. Exactly. Yeah, Kieran wouldn't learn the lines until the morning we were shooting. And you saw the movie. You saw he has monologue after monologue. And he was just so unpretentious. He would say, look, what scene are we filming today? And I would say, it's this scene. You have 5 pages of dialogue. And he'd say, let me take a look at it. And so I give him my script and he learns it in 30 seconds. And he's like, word perfect.
How?
He's on some other plane of existence. He was sleeping 2 hours a night every night. We found out, the hotel called us one day and they were like, is he okay? We said, what's wrong? They were like, oh, we found his mattress on the floor. I guess he was sleeping on the floor of his hotel room. So he didn't prepare for the part. He didn't.
It sounds like he did, because it's a bit
Exactly.
his character's a bit like that.
Exactly. This is what I determined at the end, because I couldn't figure out a guy coming to set not knowing his lines at all and then being perfect during the filming. And I think he was just like living in the spirit of the character.
Unless he did know his lines. Because how do you learn 5 pages of dialogue so it doesn't look like you're thinking of your lines on camera?
I've heard this too from directors of Succession. He has some crazed ability, maybe because he was acting since he was so young. He has some so he tells me I could memorize anything in 30 seconds, but I can't tell you the next day. I can't tell you one word from it.
Right.
So he has some temporary, it's muscle memory, some temporary bank.
Wow.
Yeah.
Amazing. Straight away off the bat. So there's a scene in the airport. And you're both about to set off on your plane, and your character's waiting for his character, and he's late, and you're there early, and you're on the phone to him, but he's around the corner, all this kind of stuff. And the airport is like full of people, and I'm thinking, are they all extras? How does this work? I know this is a very basic question, and your reply could be, Chris, it's a movie, that's what we do.
Oh, no, it's a fascinating question. I'll tell you why. We were filming at an airport that hadn't yet opened. We were filming in Poland. It was supposed to be JFK.
Right.
And we were filming at an airport that hadn't even opened yet. There were barely chairs there. We had to bring in furniture and stuff. And then the other thing, because it's JFK, we wanted to have like a very international looking group of people. But
yes.
In this place in Poland, it's a homogenous place. It's white people exclusively in this pretty much in this area. So we were desperately trying to find extras.
How'd you do that?
There was a really interesting thing happening in Poland. For some reason, there was like a Zimbabwean art students were going to school in Poland. And when I was walking through Poland just on my off days, I would oftentimes meet kids from Zimbabwe and would come up to me and they'd seen me in a movie. And I'd say, "What are you doing here?" And they said, "Oh, we're going to this art school." And so we ended up using a lot of them to be in the movie so that JFK looked like JFK, which is a really diverse place. Yeah. And it was really a strange thing. And, we're shooting at this airport in Poland and we're talking about weed and marijuana in the scenes. And the airport told us a week before we shot, we can't talk about marijuana. We can't bring any fake marijuana through, which means, we can't pretend like the characters.
Which is why it ends up at the hotel.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, good memory. Yeah, God, such a good memory. Exactly. Yeah, we were told by this airport, "Oh, by the way, you know how there's these scenes where the characters are bringing weed through the airport? You can't do that." And I said, "Well, why not? It's not, no one's going to know it's your airport." And they're like, "Well, they'll see in the credits that it's our airport and they'll think they
Good point well made.
weed."
They're going to have to deal with that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, I guess they will. So, okay, that's what they were worried about. So I had to, rewrite the script a week before we shot the scene. Okay.
And it's better for it, isn't it?
Yeah, it's kind of funnier.
There are very few places in the world I've ever wanted to go, ever.
Yeah.
I love California. We go there every summer. I used to live there. I would like to live there one day again. It's just what I like. I wanted to go to South Korea, and then there was a coup. But I didn't not go because of the coup, and the coup's only just happened. But I wanted to go to South Korea, and there was a coup. Thinking, is that my fault? Because I wanted to go there. Because I don't usually want to go anywhere.
I think that's how it works.
I want to go somewhere, and there was a coup. I wanted to go to Israel. We know what happened in Israel and what's still happening, and hopefully will stop happening soon. But one of the other few places I've ever wanted to go in my life is Poland.
Why is that?
Because I know a lot of Polish people. I used to work with a lot of Polish people. All the Polish people I've ever met seem to be amazing human beings. Really hardworking, really tough as old boots, and really gentle. Especially the men.
That's a nice way to put it.
Do you know what I mean?
Yes.
And your film just makes me want to go there more.
Oh, that's so nice. That was my hope too, is that so if you're like an American Jew kind of from Poland, what you end up hearing a lot is from people saying, "Oh, it's an awful place. It's full of, anti-Semites and everything." And I had the exact opposite experience. Like, my experience in Poland was kind of revelatory. It looked like a postcard to me, gorgeous, and I could not have been welcomed more warmly and graciously. I actually became a Polish citizen because I did. Oh, no, I did. I fell in love with the place so much, and I wanted to reconnect to my past. So my family got citizenship.
It's very beautiful.
Yeah, it's gorgeous. I cannot recommend it more. There's beautiful city after beautiful city. My family's from a little area in the southeast called, and it's by the city Lublin, and that's like one of our main locations in the movie. You can't find a more beautiful place on earth. No, I can't recommend it more highly. I can't wait to go back, and I have my Social Security number already there, so I'm thrilled.
Are you going to go back to work, or are you just going to go back because you just?
I love it there. I mean, I was there like a month ago. And it's funny. My wife's family is also from there. And so we were able to get citizenship. And
you really do have citizenship.
Yeah.
Oh right.
Yeah,
You're not
I
joking.
do. No, because I genuinely I fell in love with the place, and I remember thinking like it's so awful that I grew up hearing bad stories about this place that I just have the exact opposite reaction.
So
to.
if I'm going to go, and I will go.
Yeah.
Where first trip? What do you recommend?
I would say like Warsaw is a great city, but it's not like one of the beautiful cities of Poland in terms of like, well, actually, sorry, there is an old town that's beautiful, but it was rebuilt after the war. The towns I would recommend are a town called Wrocław, which is spelled Wroclaw, Lublin, where my family's from, Gdansk up north, and there's 3 cities up there, Gdynia and Sopot. Those are great. And God, where else would I recommend? That will take you all around the country. I had family who lived in Szczecin, which is in the North Baltic, but it's more of an industrial city, but kind of interesting. But it's just gorgeous. Like you'll have a great trip.
It looks gorgeous, and the people that come from there are so. I mean, the overwhelming thing that I've experienced is they're so hardworking.
Yeah,
and they care about their family so much.
Yes,
send money back all the time.
Oh,
go
of
back
course,
because
in England you had a huge
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I also should say probably the most beautiful city in the country is Krakow, which is gorgeous. But also, I would recommend also doing some like I wouldn't spend your time on a Holocaust tour, but I would do some Jewish history tourism as well because it's a fascinating history.
And the concentration camp that you visit in the film, the chilling. It's all chilling.
Yeah.
But one of the most chilling aspects is the geography. The proximity to the city.
Yeah, exactly.
Just speak to that a bit.
Yeah, exactly. So there's this gorgeous college town called Lublin, and like 5 minutes from the city center by car is like this massive industrialized death machine of Majdanek, which was like, one of the worst camps in the world, a concentration camp where they slaughtered,
So it's designed to kill people.
Yeah.
It is a human slaughterhouse.
Exactly.
That's all it is. That's its sole design.
Yeah, I mean, it's a gas chamber that takes them, then you burn the bodies and you go into the ovens. I mean, it's shocking. What's really shocking about it is that it's the only camp that is of its kind, which is to say that looks like it was liberated the day before. It's like it's in
pristine, isn't it? Almost.
Yeah,
almost.
Like it wasn't destroyed. It's so far east. And that the Russians kind of got there before the Germans could burn it down. So the Allies, liberated it before the Germans could burn it down. And so it just looks like you walk in there and you feel like this was liberated yesterday. Like I'm walking through something that is, very recent.
It's funny because I've experienced concentration camps before via films and documentaries. Top Gear, I think, went close to one once. But never a virtual experience of one has never landed like your films did, in as much as absolutely heartbreaking, unbelievable, to the extent that my stomach disappeared and I didn't know where it had gone, but also overwhelmingly peaceful.
Yeah, exactly. That's the weird thing when you're walking through these places. They're sacred grounds, and so you have this feeling of, I don't know if you'd call it some kind of existential humility, where you're like, oh, wow, my life is really a speck of sand, and there by the grace of God go I, and how lucky I am to be alive in this place where that was a factory of death. And that can be paradoxically, as you put it so nicely, peaceful.
Yeah. And I love the first of all, we've got a shout out to Will Sharp, who's been on this show.
Oh, yeah.
From White Lotus, who plays the sexy American. He's very sexy, but he's not American.
Yeah.
He's very English. And he has a northern accent in this because he's the English tour guide.
Yeah.
Do you know specifically which accent he's perfected there?
It's something like Sheffield.
Yeah, it's Yorkshire, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
He's great.
Everybody's great in it. Everybody's great. Because you have to be great in it, because this is a film that will find you out if you're not great. That's got to be worrying when you have such a small ensemble.
Yeah, that's true.
Jennifer Grey's in it as well. Dirty Dancing, of course. She's great in it. Everybody's great in it. You wrote it. You directed it. You ended up starring in it. Emma Stone, your friend, produced it. Your friend now, Kieran Culkin, is in it. This film is 94% on Rotten Tomatoes. It's not even out yet. It is a fantastic watch. I've been reading recently about Stephen King and his writing, and then from that I got to Frank Capra. Frank Capra is the writer-director of what used to be my favourite Christmas film of all time, It's a Wonderful Life. I'm sure you're aware of that. I didn't know that Frank Capra taught Dr. Seuss how to write.
Wait, sorry?
Frank Capra
Yeah.
taught Dr. Seuss how to write.
What do you mean?
So the author, Dr. Seuss,
Yeah.
he was taught to write by Frank Capra.
Wait, you mean like literally?
Yes.
Really?
No, not like how to ABCD.
Oh,
how to screenwrite. How to
is
tell a
that right?
story.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
really?
he was a student, yeah. So Dr. Seuss was a student of Frank Capra. And that's why you never get a wasted word in a Dr. Seuss
Oh, that's so
book
interesting.
or story, which is why kids never get bored, because if it isn't story,
Right.
it's not in there.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Frank Capra literally wrote that book and taught Dr. Seuss, and Stephen King learned from both of those people.
Oh my God.
And I thought the same about your film.
Oh my God, thank you. First of all, I'm shocked that that connection exists.
Yeah.
But thank you so much. Yeah, it's an 88-minute movie. It's partly due to my crazed attention span, which is probably 88 minutes maximum.
Yeah.
And that was the idea, is that like it's a Holocaust themed movie, but it's not homework and it's not, self-important.
Well, I did some more homework last night. I got into some more of your old interviews and things like that. It was great. I'll dive into Adventureland. We run out of time. We don't have time to talk about Adventureland. But I rewatched The Insider last week. I was going to say this weekend I'm going to rewatch, because my wife and I, we have a double movie night, in as much as we watch one movie on 2 nights as opposed to 2 movies on 1 night, because we have a million children.
That's funny.
So we watch half of there is an obvious sort of end halfway through a movie or 2/3 away through a movie. Last week it was The Insider. Russell Crowe. I don't know if you've seen it recently. Oh, God, it only gets better, that
Really?
film.
Okay.
And I was going to say, this Friday, darling, we shall rewatch Adventureland. But then I realised I've never seen Adventureland.
Oh, you'll love it. You'll love it. It's
And
gorgeous.
when you were talking about it
Yeah.
last night on one of these interviews I was watching, you said, famously, I can't watch myself. I really don't like watching myself. But you made this film, so you had to watch yourself. Is that purgatory for you?
Awful. Yeah, awful. Yeah, so while we were filming it, I wouldn't watch the scenes back. Like if it was a close-up on my face, I just wouldn't watch it back after we filmed it. And then in editing, I was just like getting used to it. Like the mitigating thing I did was like I wore my regular hat and my regular glasses. Like I wore the entire outfit that I know I feel comfortable in my real life, because I was directing and I got to wear anything I want. And so like I covered all of the places that I'm embarrassed about on my body.
Actually?
Yeah.
Because you'd have to look at it so much because
Exactly.
you're editing the film.
So I just wanted to look at the thing I was used to looking at, which is me.
If you could give yourself one post-rap note, what would it be from the movie?
Oh, wow. It's funny. I got like a note from like Emma, again, a producer's like the greatest actor in the world. So she was off camera watching and she was like, you could do less. You could do less. You know what I mean? And
Always less.
Yeah, you could always do less. And it's interesting. I think I just like I just wanted to convey things maybe more than I did. We're talking like, gradations, it's like, and so that's what I would tell myself. You could do less.
Well, it's one of those movies that has it couldn't be more gentle and more emphatic and empathetic in its message. It's awesome.
Thank you, Chris. That's so flattering. Thank you.
A Real Pain in cinemas Wednesday, January the 8th, starring Jesse Eisenberg and his friends. You and Kieran have got to work together again.
I would love to.
Come on.
Yeah, I would. It would be my thrill. I can't get a hold of
All
him.
right. Jesse, thanks for seeing us. Happy Christmas.
Thanks, Chris. Thank you so much.
Very much, Vassos.
Thank you.
Thank you to the team. Have a great Thursday. We'll see you Friday. We are out of here. Goodbye.